Okay, we call the meeting of the Board of Selectmen for December 4th, 2023, open, call to order at 6:30, according to the clock on the wall. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Jeff, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review. Jeff, anything?
No, I'm good.
Jim?
I'd like to make an adjustment to the agenda. If we could move under action items, letter C, the Montessori school, up to just behind consent agenda. We've got representatives here from staff and from the school that will get them on a timely basis. It's a school night. So. And I'd like to add under non-public, another non-public 91A3, section 2A employee.
Good. Keith, anything?
No, I'm all set.
I'm all set. Thank you.
And I'm all set. And Paul?
Can I add an action
You
item?
know, keep saying.
F, January 1st, BOS meeting,
Under action
under
item,
action item.
BOS. Good. Okay. Minutes of previous meeting, September 18th, 2023, non-public minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. October 2nd, 2023, non-public minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And November 6th, 2023, regular business minute.
So moved.
Business.
Second that.
Second?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Nope, got one change.
Okay, thank you.
Page 2, second paragraph down. Minutes from previous meeting.
You want to wait just a second? Yeah.
Oh, let's find it. Page 2. Okay, third line down with the sentence that starts, the board voted 4-1-0 with Selectmen Keith Sayer abstaining. That should be 4-0-1.
Okay.
That's it.
Right.
That's the only thing I caught.
So, need a motion on those amended minutes? Jeff?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And let's see, November 6th, non-public minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. November 8th, regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And consent agenda on the back of our agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we'll now move to
Action item C.
action item C, Newport Montessori School waiver of Opera House use fees. $300, custodial fees, rental fee reduction to $150 at the non-profit rate. Did you want to speak to that?
Sure. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm Christy Whipple, the principal of the Montessori School. This is year 18 for us. We have in the past had our winter concert at the Opera House because our school doesn't have a location large enough now for us all to meet. So it's a good problem to have, but we've been using the Opera House until COVID, and then we had to stop. And then there were some renovations that needed to happen, so we weren't able to have it last year. So this would be the first time in 3 years we've been able to have it back at the Opera House. And so we did all the paperwork and reserved it. In the past, the Board of Selectmen has voted to waive the fees. As we're a nonprofit school, we don't charge admission for this event. It's open to all the family and friends of the 111 students who will participate. So I'm here tonight to ask that same kindness, if that would be something that the Board of Selectmen would be willing to do.
Take a motion and then we'll have discussion. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Jonathan Flynn, Cemetery Buildings Grounds Manager. I'd like to counter an argument for that. Two major points I'd like to make is, one, this event is Thursday. This is something that should have been done substantial amount of time ago, not last minute like this. Secondly, I do not believe custodial fees or service fees should ever be waived. It is something that it puts my department in the hole, as we have nothing to counteract what we are putting out there. I mean, you're talking 8 man-hours for cleaning and setup, tear down and clean up. It's a process. It is an extensive process. When we do a lot of work, we do a lot of work to make sure it looks clean. So therefore, we don't want to feel like we're kind of just doing it for free in that aspect. So that's the only 2 points I wanted to make to your guys' attention. You guys do it as you feel free. Thank you for letting me talk.
Can I speak to that? I filled out the paperwork in March of last year, so I'm not sure why this poor fellow is just finding out about it now. But that was all filled out and signed off by the police chief, the fire chief, and everyone who needed to have it in March.
Thank you. Bert, and then Paul.
All right, I'd like to speak strongly in favor of this, because to me it becomes starkly strong. The children that get educated in Montessori, taxpayers don't pay for it over the whole thing. The parents do. So those are taken out of a system which does take taxpayers' dollars. And that is significant. And then comes the question of, are they doing their educational job? I can speak to that. A little girl, first grade, asked her father what they call a word, 2 words, that are spoke in the same, but have different meanings. Lie and lie. Lie as a chemical, lie as lie. First grader asking that question. That's, to me, is astonishing. And that in and of itself, what does Montessori cost this community? 0 in reality. You have to plow the road for their driveway. The only complaint that I have about Montessori is the parking lot isn't big enough. She needs to find a contractor to go up there and make it bigger, if possible.
Only she knew one.
But that being said, this has to be given, because this is a small gift to give for the great gift that the community gets back.
Thank you, Bert. Christy, just a question. Do you get, and I don't know the answer to it, so I'm not setting you up here. Do you get money from the state in relationship to the school for you, or is it just all parental payment?
Well, there's some districts that have town choice.
Yeah,
You have some that are paid for that way, but it's most of it is paid for.
Okay, yeah, so it's not, Newport doesn't have town choice, so.
Right.
Yeah,
So
just
the way
outline
that the law
school.
reads is if you don't have
Yeah.
grades or a school in your town, like Goshen doesn't have any of
Yeah.
it, they can contract with private schools or public
Yeah.
schools. Goshen chooses to not do private schools.
Yeah.
But I just want to also point out, we have 111 students, which means their parents are driving in every day and picking up every day. And so those people are contributing to this community, even those who are not
Mhm.
Newport residents.
Good.
So we stand to bring in about 400 people Thursday night.
Thank you.
One more. What is the answer to the question the child had? 2 words, spoken the same, spelled differently.
What is the answer?
What's,
Well, you used
What is
lye
that?
as a chemical, okay.
well, that, no, what is it called?
Oh,
Begins with H.
not hyperbole.
Mrs.
Might be a
Whipple,
hominin.
And Jim just got it.
there we go. You saved the day.
Thank you.
I
Oh.
was awake during part of the, my Newport education, but
Well,
I would just say this was originally scheduled for your Thanksgiving week meeting that we canceled. So
okay,
it
good.
wasn't anticipated to be this late.
Is,
One question. Do your custodians, when they're doing this, do they get overtime
No, we do it during the workday.
during the workday?
Unless it is, something that happens over the weekend, it would be during the workday. Because we still, so for the event, we clean the building pre-hand. We set up everything that needs to be set up. Unlock the building, the time of the event, whether it's on a weekend or not. The event happens, we come back, depending on, if it's on a weekend or not. Weekend usually, unless there's another event that has to happen. On the weekend, we will close up the Opera House, we'll deal with it on Monday.
I'm sorry. My doctor called. Okay, sorry.
And in the instances where it's on the weekend, yes, it would be under overtime pay.
Okay.
But during the week, when we're doing these things during the week, no, it happens during the day, and it takes us away from the other duties that we would have planned for that day.
Paul, who gets the $150?
$150, the rental fee goes into the Opera House Town Hall Improvements Fund.
Okay, so there's no direct correlation between that 150 and custodians being paid.
That's correct. You'll see Joanne's listed the two different fees. There's the
Yeah.
$300 custodial fee and then the reduction of the rental fee.
Jeff?
Yep, I would rather waive the rental fee than the custodial fee, because the building needs to be maintained. We have custodians that do it. We just put a lot of effort and money into refurbishing the inside and such. They're the ones that have to set up the chairs and all. It's the sort of thing, lately I've been involved with setup and takedown in there a couple of times. I've done it once when there was only a couple of us and it takes forever. There was another time, Friday night, I took some people after show up to Summercrest and came back to help, and the numbers of people there, they were done by that point and sweeping up. But I think it's important, one thing we have our custodials there mainly to look over our building and all, maintain our stewardship of it. I think it's important. And there is a direct cost to us in their time, for setup and takedown. But as I said, the rental fee, I would be more than willing to waive that, because they do contribute to the community. A lot of the work that went into it had been done through state grants, so they should be able to enjoy some of the benefits of the work we were able to do there. But we still have to cover the cost of our custodial staff and such.
Jeff?
question to Christie. Do you have staff with the ability to give in that setup and takedown?
We do. In the past, the town hasn't wanted us to do that.
Okay.
They've asked us to not do that.
So we have to have somebody there regardless, and somebody's already on payroll regardless. The impact really comes in taking away from other things. So if we could minimize that, I have no problem in waiving the fees. I'm just going to minimize the impact on other things that are going to be not done because of their redirected their attention here. So
Can I ask a question? In the
Push
past, we have timed this so that it falls with the Twas Festival happening just after that, and the setup is the same. So if you decide that we're going to pay the setup fee, that's wonderful. I'm just curious to know if it's going to be a different setup for the Twas Festival, or we're paying for that setup fee and then it's set up for the other group as well.
Yeah.
Or whatever event was in there after us, that they used the same
It's
setup we
usually
had
Twas.
had.
Well, it wouldn't be Twas. There might have been something in between on a Friday.
There was
night.
something where the chairs were all set up exactly the same.
Twas actually hasn't opened.
We don't open, the bar's not open, we don't serve any food, it's literally 45 minutes, that's it.
Yes.
Obviously, you know that as a first-year parent of Montessori student and then students afterwards, that I have great respect for the school and the education, and thank you.
I think it does, however, bring up a bigger situation in the long run. And I don't have any problem with this for today, but I think that to have a standard going forward, and I'll just give you an example of how it has affected what I have done with our church. Is we used to have something that we called the Living Nativity, which we now try to jam into our church. It's very difficult. We bring in live animals. We used to have a band and a play and a whole thing, and they used to donate it. And they stopped donating it. We have a very small church that is not funded. And so my wife and I would personally pay for it. And it cost thousands of dollars to put it on, and it was always free. There was never enough of donations coming in, and they started charging for it, and so it couldn't be there anymore. And it was a nice event. And now it's just kind of, we'll do it again this year in our church. But if I were to come here, and we've asked again, and they said, no, we're very sorry, we can't give it to you, even though you're a nonprofit and you're doing this. So there not being a standard makes it difficult. And it's the same thing with planning and zoning, in that we have a standard, the driveways go in this way, and they go a certain direction, and they have all these things, because you can't make an exception. Because as soon as you do, then someone comes in and says, well, what about me? We're a nonprofit too. And who's to say that they're more worthy than we are in what we do? Our opinion is that we are, and what we do is equally a benefit to the community, in that it's a great deal of effort. So I would just say that we should have a discussion at another time on what it is to be a nonprofit, and what the cost is, and to understand that the cleaning part is hard, and they've said the same thing to us. We said, look, we'll happily do it, we're meticulous, we got the people, we'll take it down, we'll tear it down, we'll put all the chairs back, we put them in things, we roll them away, we do all that work. But they said, no, thank you. And it is a lot of work. I get it. It's a lot of chairs, and a lot of rolling, and a lot of sweeping, and it's a big area, and it takes, and at the time, they come in at night. So you may say it's during the day, but they were always in right after at night, doing it all. And I forget who the lovely lady used to work, come in. Sylvia. Amazing person, did an amazing job. So I would just say that we should at some point have a further discussion about the nonprofit part of it, because there is an expense to that opera house, between heat and everything else. But I ultimately don't have a problem with this, at least for tonight. I think it's I understand. I've been to those events myself, and I would love to go to this one.
Chuck, I think we've had a lot of discussion about this over the years.
Yeah.
And we do have a standard, but we have the ability to waive that standard. And that's what we're kind of looking at tonight. I got you. So I'm not opposed to having additional or more discussion about it, but we do have a standard. Okay.
For nonprofits.
Yeah, but we waive it. And for profits, yeah. But we reserve the right to waive. Yes?
In the spirit of the season, I'm thinking that, well, we all reach in our wallet, dig out $20, we'll all pay the fees for the school, and it'll be over with. I'll dig in my wallet if anyone else wants to dig in. The spirit of giving. They do a great job up there in the hill, and they don't ask for much.
What a roar. I don't disagree with that, but I'm not going to comment. Yes?
I understand our standards. Every for-profit and non-profit is going to have a different idea of how they want to use the space. So having them come before us and having this discussion on every single one takes a few minutes of our time. But you can't have a blanket one-size-fits-all, because every use is going to be a little bit different, going to have different demands. So having this discussion, fine. So,
Keith, anything you want to say?
No, I'm not really sure about this one.
Okay. All right, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, question for, I guess, Jonathan. Why can't Montessori provide some helpers to help set up and break down?
They can. It would just have to be one of those, they'd have to time it with me and the aspect of when it gets done.
Right, because I mean, honestly, more people doing it.
Yeah, it gets done faster.
Yeah.
I mean, the times I've helped you, I've helped get the chairs out, but then you've set the spacing and all that stuff, because you know what that is and such.
Yeah.
But certainly getting chairs moved to the right places.
We still have to do the cleaning and everything like that. That's
Right.
also part of the time consuming is the cleaning.
Yeah.
so that would be exactly my question to Christy was, did she have the ability to assist his staff with that? Her answer was yes.
Setting
So
up
My motion would be to grant the waivers as presented, with the understanding that the Montessori school is going to work with Buildings and Grounds on the setup, tear down, and cleanup of the space.
Your second?
Barry.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Even at second, I can still call.
Okay. Let's do some quick math. We got a student here. We educate at Newport. We're $15,000 to $17,000 for the student. The student turns because, what's his name here, sent his child there. We don't spend that money. Yes, we do, because it's spread over facilities, but using it in this example, that liability leaves us and goes somewhere else. They've already paid more money by the number of children in Newport that attend Montessori. They paid more money than they're asking to get here by far. Saved the town that much money, significantly. And that is different than a religious organization that moves into town, up here on that side of town, moves in, and gets the benefit right away. And it's not a religion that I attend to.
I need to hear a second.
I'll second Jim's motion.
Good. Any further discussion on the part of the board?
So clarifying, we're waiving the setup and takedown fee, but keeping the rental fee at $150.
No.
We're waiving both.
Both fees.
And are we permitting them in that, as part of the motion, to assist in the,
That was my motion, was to waive the
have them
fees
assist.
and for
I
the
just have a question on that.
Montessori school
You
to,
can't set it up because there's court underneath it, right? So during school.
that's why you would be working with
Yeah, you'd be
his
working with
team on when that would happen. So he has the court schedule. If you can work it out with him, perfect. Where everyone's good.
And if we can't, then we'll pay the custodial fee. Is that what
So we can figure that part out.
And I haven't commented, but Bert, I appreciate what you've had to say. It is true in terms of money. It's also true in terms of the quality of education that goes on in that school. I see the end result of that one with the kids in Sunapee, many who went to Montessori schools. And, so it's a very positive feeling that I have about it.
me as well?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The ayes have it.
If you'd help with the chairs, maybe.
I'll call you.
I'm sure you will.
Work on the parking lot first, Gary.
Yeah, keep the parking lot going, will you?
Jonathan, what's in there Friday?
Friday?
Yeah.
We got 2 events this weekend, nothing on Friday.
Nothing on Friday.
But we have to get it set up for TWAS on Saturday.
Okay.
And then tear that down for it to be set up for Relief Fair on Sunday.
Jonathan, and I do appreciate you and your team, all the hard work and extra effort.
Yeah.
These events cause your department, they are invaluable to the town of Newport. Thank you.
And I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Coming here and letting us know.
Appreciate that very
Absolutely.
much.
All right. We now move to informational. Community Center update. Paul.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody's been on Meadow Road today, but the ambulance garage, the cemetery buildings and grounds garage, and the dugouts are all gone. They are either in a dump truck or in a roll-off container. So the process has started, and we are moving forward. They anticipate they'll probably actually be pouring concrete in the middle of next week. So that's the big update. We continue to work with our funding agencies to make sure we're all copacetic with them and in line with them. And I think we are. And progress. So looking at setting up a groundbreaking ceremony sometime in the next couple of weeks. Date not set, invitation list is forming, and working with Director Potter on that.
Good to do it before the ground freezes.
Well, worst comes
So we
to worst,
bring some in.
We'll bring in a little bit of
Bring in a
sand,
little.
but
All right.
I think I have an excavator that could scuff up the dirt a little bit.
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, good.
One of the donors is up from Florida currently, so good time for that.
Good. Good, good, good. And now, informational, the infamous tax rate.
All
right, so the tax rate is set, bills are printed, they will be in the mail on the 8th, due on January 8th. The current rate is projected, it's not projected, the current rate is total $23.58, which is an increase of $2.68. The town was up 46 cents to $7.62. We had projected 48 cents when we were at town meeting, so we're just under that. The school is up $1.78 on the local rate. The state education rate is up 39 cents, and the county rate is up 5 cents to make up the $1.68. $2.68.
$2, yeah.
$2.
58 or 68? 258 or 268?
$2.68.
$2.68 increase. You got the sheet.
I had, yeah, when I wrote down.
I might have missed it.
Good.
So, again, the bills will be out soon. People who want to deduct them on their taxes should pay by December 31st. And we will be here to answer any questions and to accept payments.
Any questions, comments from the board?
Question on the net local valuation. We've gone up $1.5 million in a year.
Yes.
New construction or such, or just revaluation?
New construction, I think, mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
We had a small adjustment to PSNH came down, Eversource, whatever they're going by today.
Okay.
Because of change in state law 3 years ago now. There's a very formulatic, I cannot talk tonight.
Formulaic.
Process to come to the value, and it slightly decreases every year. So,
Okay.
but the net is the $1.5 million increase.
Okay.
Any other comments from the board? I need to go back to community center update. I forgot to ask if there was any comment from the board or anything you would like to add.
Other than you can visually see things happening now.
Good, and that's always.
And I think that's important. People drive through and can actually see it's happening. And
You can hear it from my house.
Or they can
That's
see
right.
it now.
You can hear everywhere.
Question.
You got a problem between the cars speeding by your house, down the sound.
Come on down to my house and watch those cars go by.
Okay.
They do fly.
Yeah, I bet they do.
They do. It's a shortcut around Newport,
Yeah.
and I don't know why. If by the time they get down through them and set up the stop sign down by the school, they could get through the light quicker.
Yeah.
The two lights. You know, I don't know. It's
Especially on that car show night.
Across the street from the where we're building a community center, there was an issue with the fence there, Meadow Park. Was that falling over?
Building grounds looked at it. I thought they had repaired it, but I would need to.
Okay, I hadn't been down there, so it came up last time or an
One of
earlier
our
time.
last meetings, we
Yeah.
discussed that.
So I'm just wondering if that was also being addressed.
I saw on one of their daily worksheets that they were
Okay.
looking at the fence, so I assume they did something. Can't say that I've driven past it.
Okay.
Wish I hadn't noticed either. I didn't go down that far.
Too noisy.
Adding a C under informational. Concern expressed about various buildings and grounds in the area and in disrepair and really looking shoddy. And early this morning I was having discussions with a couple of people and said I would put it to the board tonight for a discussion or a referral to a future meeting to have a discussion about it.
Are we talking just lack of maintenance? in
Well,
the
there's
yard or
two
such,
specific
Or are
in-
we hitting on
Yeah.
the definition of a junkyard?
That's,
I think more the latter.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that there are several properties in town that are growing in the amount of stuff that's been accumulated. And this was something that Planning and Zoning Office has always looked at historically. I know they've worked very closely with the police department on noticing these violators and getting those areas addressed. And I know Paul has prepared some information on that.
So right now we have, I have a list of 35 zoning complaints, the
Mhm.
majority of which are junkyards, yard issues. 6 of those have actually been cleaned, so we've made some progress on that. I haven't gone through and actually counted, but we have taken 4 of those to court and have received judgment to go in and clean them up. We continue to try to work with the property owners to do it so that we don't have to. Sometimes us going in can be a contentious thing, and we'd rather not do that. So we do have court orders against some. We are in court and have, or headed to court on some others. So we are working on them. The 2 that came through this morning are on a new list that are beginning to be addressed.
Okay.
One was addressed for a separate zoning issue to begin with. So we are working forward on those. Certainly Topaz right now is somewhat short-staffed and is having some bearing on it. But we will continue to press forward on these items and on these properties and try to get them.
Excellent.
So we are aware, if we're aware of them, they're on a list.
Yes.
When you say the town goes in and cleans it up at town's expense,
We have court judgment, so at town's expense, and then we go back and put a lien on it. And then if the property ever sells, we would get the money, or we can take it. The lien then goes through the tax deed process, so we can then process it through the tax lien process, and then ultimately take the property if we want to go that way.
Which we've done.
Which we'd have to.
Jeff?
Yep, when you go to court, we have a pretty good record going to court and getting judgments in our favor.
We've done well, yes.
So when we approach new customers, so to speak, on this, it's a selling point that it's in their best interest to work with us before we go down that way.
Correct. Correct. Because actually, in some cases, we've got court costs also.
Yeah, so that would be a good point to point out to them, that we've done this before in our track record. It's going to leave you behind.
Mm-hmm.
Jim?
And just for the listening audience listening at that, one of the issues that we're really talking about junkyard is when you have 2 or more unregistered vehicles, that starts to accumulate. The other issues are, we want to really avoid a repeat of what happened on Chandler's Mills Road that took us so long to address, and we want to stay ahead of these things, be proactive, and really work with the landowners to say, this has been recognized, we want to work with you to correct this in a friendlier, gentler way without having to go to court, without having to go those extra lengths. But sometimes it's just, I didn't know that I couldn't have a dozen vehicles in my yard, kind of a thing. So it's more educational in voluntary compliance or compliance once they are informed. So that's historically been our best effort, is to educate the residents about these issues and work with them to get them.
Yes, Paul?
And to that point, for those non-junkyards, so we're not talking about unregistered vehicles and things, there's a difference between a junkie yard and a junkyard. And there is in New Hampshire, there is a level of junkie yard that you can maintain, and it's not actionable unless it turns into a health issue. At that point in time, we will send the health officer out, and if it's trash that's bringing rodents, those kind of things, we can address that. But sometimes a junkie yard is more difficult to address.
Yeah.
Because there is no real.
And we've had some of those.
We have had some of those also.
Yeah.
And of course, they all look better after a good snowfall.
They do. But we don't get snow anymore, so I don't know.
Yeah. Jeff?
So just see on the junkyard, if someone say had a repair business, a lawnmower repair business, and they were to accumulate a vast array of lawnmowers that they tear down for parts and they're around their yard and they're nice and neatly done, but doesn't look so good to the average driver buyer, that would be considered not a junkyard. However, a junky yard that would be much more difficult to.
But also governed differently because of the business, and we're talking mostly residential neighborhoods, non-business entities. So a business would be treated very differently than,
I say business, but the guy's doing it on the side and kind of charging people. Not as a.
Then it could become a zoning issue for a business.
I said it as business. I didn't really mean it as business, but I'm just as an example of sort of what someone does when they accumulate things. They're tinkering and hobby.
Harry,
Yes.
how's that saying go? One man's junk is another man's treasure.
Right.
Okay. So that being said,
Right.
If you've got a business, some of the best money you might make might be off of selling used parts as opposed to new parts.
Maybe.
But whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's what is junk?
Yeah.
As long as it's properly, it's proper use for the zone, or it has permissions, and hopefully our boards are granting permissions like those with requirements of it's gotta be behind a fence if you're gonna accumulate parts or
Just
things like
consider-
that. But, so it's a balance between our zoning ordinance and life.
The ordinance does give corrective measures the property owner can take to shield the unsightliness from neighbors and other residents, so.
Excellent. All right, any other comments in regards to this? All right, move to action item. We have two resignations. I'll take one at a time. We have, we need to accept the resignation of Ken Dennis from the Conservation Commission.
Make a motion, we accept the resignation of Kenneth Dennis from the Conservation Commission with regret.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I'll make a motion, we accept the resignation of Linda Dennis from the Conservation Commission with regret.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Discussion on that?
Yep.
Could we send both the Dennises a thank you for their service to the town on this committee? Commission.
Commission. They have been very valuable members over the years in regards to this. They get out and check areas that need to be checked. They have a lot of knowledge that has come from their years of experience, and I personally will miss them on the Conservation Commission.
Barry, question for you as our representative to the commission. How does that leave them from membership?
Let's see, there's
So
two down.
people should, if people...
I'd like to have people consider
Right.
coming
So
on
maybe you
to
want
the
to say
commission.
something to that about what it does and if people are interested in filling those seats?
Well, the Conservation Commission has become very active in terms of the work that they're doing. They've done some recent work on the walkway near the high school. They go out and check in terms of issues that may come up in terms of conservation. We also have to mark off and do yearly walkabout of the conservation land that we do have. So it's a very active group, looking to make sure that we have the best that we can possibly have. We're also working on the NRI, which is a conservation
National resource
inventory that will be part of the town master plan, and a lot of good will come of that in terms of identifying what we have, potential needs, things of that nature. So, love to see people come on board. It isn't a commission that just sits by idly. It's a commission that actually is out there working for the benefit of the town.
And if someone wants to apply, they can do so through the town office?
Through the town office, yeah.
Barry?
Jeff had this.
Yes, Jeff?
I think you somewhat explained what it is. If we're going to be looking for people, maybe a more clear explanation of exactly what the commission is. So if you're interested in it, I mean, I understand it's basically for conservation lands, but maybe what that board does, because I'm not 100% clear on what it is, and so I'm barely clear, but maybe since we have the public listening too.
Do you want me to say more?
Well,
I think that's what he said.
well, but because we're filling two very valuable spots here, that I think that when people
Very
go
valuable,
online,
but also valuable in terms of the commission itself. The commission looks out for the good of the community in terms of land and conservation of the land. We look out in terms of, we're also consulted by the planning committee when things are proposed that may affect wetlands or things of that nature, and we're consulted and do go out and look at it. And the people, some of the members have become really well informed in regards to that. They've gone to classes, things of that nature. Part of the commission's role is to interact with other commissions in the area, which we do.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, something to Jeff's point that I would give to the listening audience is on the town website, you can see all the vacancies for all the different boards that are currently existing. You can also see on those boards who the current members are. And there is a BOS member, one of us, as a representative to each one of these boards. So if somebody has a question about what these boards do or what their role might be or what things that that particular board or commission or group looks over or looks after, then certainly reach out to the Board of Selectmen representative that sits on that board, and we would be happy to have a nice offline chat about exactly what our roles are and what these different groups do. Because I know there is a lot of mystery, as you said, about what some of these things do and what they look after. But you know, we certainly need representatives from the public to participate and be an involved member of the community in these boards and commissions. And I would love, if I'm on any that anybody has any questions on, I'd love to chat.
Yeah, I think that, and the reason why I'd asked this, I think that sometimes when there's a lot of commissions, when it's like heritage, conservation, wetlands, there's just some, they from the public perspective, it feels like this kind of meld together. You're not sure, are we conserving architecture, are we conserving land, or are we, what's the heritage, what's the, you know, so it's, and they pique different people's interest, people who are really interested in land and stuff, as opposed to, like, I'm really interested in architecture, so I would be the type of person to be, like, really into the Heritage Commission. You know,
On just about all the boards, there's a lot of very important work happening currently because we are right in the middle of the master plan. So there's a lot of heavy lifting going on right now by these different groups, but a lot of very important work, very meaningful work that has a great impact on the community, on the town. So.
Agreed.
And we have a lot of conservation lands that we are responsible for. The town is responsible for some, but our role is to oversee that area and make sure that it remains quality in terms of the area. Yeah.
Yeah, I would phrase it that one of the appeals of Newport are our natural resources, and the Conservation Commission is our steward for that.
Excellent. Write that down.
It'll be in the minutes, right?
It'll be on the website.
She will get it. Yeah. Good. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else to that? Newport Farmers Market. Waiver of common use fees, $100 daily rental fee. No one's here to speak on that. Paul,
So
you have-
this is something that the board has waived this for the past few years. There was a time historically they paid $1 per vendor per week. It was spotty, it ended up being a couple $100, $400 maybe. But tracking that and everything was more of a problem. You couldn't audit it, so.
Plus, you had to check for a long time sitting on your desk up there.
The deposit.
Deposit.
Okay.
The $250.
Good for it, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, we hold this security deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you held the security deposit. So that came
Yeah.
up one night here.
Oh, okay, yes, no,
Yeah.
that's not a check, that's deposited.
Okay.
Not sitting on my-
We held on to it.
Yeah.
So, yes, it was on your desk, but just not in the check form.
Yeah, well, okay.
It's in that
I
box.
get worried when people tell me I have checks laying around like that.
Yeah.
So we do hold this security deposit annually, they just keep rolling it over. And certainly it's a good event for the town and it brings forward, brings people to town.
And I am concerned about leveling off a little bit. And so
You mean
anything we
dying
can do
off?
to,
Dying off.
well, I didn't want to say dying, I'm saying leveling off a little bit. Anything we can do to help them, I'm in favor.
I'll make a motion that we waive the $100 daily rental fee for use of the common for the Newport Farmers Market for their 2024 season.
I would second that.
For discussion.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I would say, been out there several of the Friday afternoons last summer, and there aren't many vendors out there. The
Right.
ones that are out there, they're not getting a lot of people through, and I applaud them for still coming out and setting setting up and all that stuff, so, you know, and I don't think we haven't had any complaints. I've never seen any, you know, trash left afterwards
No.
or anything. You know, they're very conscientious about it. And if we can start to attract more vendors or such, then, you know, then I think it would, you know, benefit the town.
Any other
Perry?
comments? Yes, Jack.
Can I ask you, I mean, no, I don't know if, who organizes that and puts it together?
I'm not sure who the president, there's a board that does
Board
that.
that does
I'm not
it.
sure who's the president of the board currently.
Do we have the form here?
Probably do.
I only ask because I find it, I understand there's conflict with Sunapee's, which is on Saturday.
Saturday.
And I don't particularly find that the problem is with the farmer's market. I find the problem is with the time. On Friday, you know, afternoon, I'm like, the last thing I feel like doing is going at night to a farmer's
Well,
market,
if
you know.
we had a lake that was next to where
Yeah.
our
Well,
thing was, it might.
Newport Farmers Market on Friday afternoons has been in existence way longer than Sunapee.
Yeah.
Or even, I think, Lebanon, which is Thursdays.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, that's 25 miles, so that's a bit of a haul.
I just don't know about the success of the ease of it. And it's not really my, I was just asking
I mean,
because I know it's
Sunapee,
not
from
up to
everything I
us.
hear, is doing, you know, a great job. They get a lot of vendors, you know, and ours is struggling, but, you know, we shouldn't be.
Different animal. The Sunapee one benefits from tourists coming in, boats going in and out, things of that nature. I just would put a note out to the community, we need to support our farmers
Yeah.
market. And whether it's Friday or whenever, we need to get out and support it.
This year, the rain has really put them out.
Yeah, you're
The
right.
rain really put
It
'em
was
out
not
this
good.
year.
Jim, two things. One, my question is, Paul, what does it cost the town? Do we have any costs associated with this? Is it
Electricity.
either the electricity or the porta-john, that's there regardless anyway, the dumpster, that's all on them? So do we have any direct costs? Or is it all kind of passed through?
Well, we're gonna mow the common either way. We usually mow it on Thursday, and the daily lines are up on Friday. But mowing it, we're gonna do anyway. There's probably a little bit more trash with them being there, but not an astronomical amount.
Yeah, but the trash is in the containers, it's not
Right.
on the ground.
Right. Yeah, it's in the containers.
My second question is there anything that Allison in her position could do for that group or work with that group on the promoting of or working on the revitalization of our market in some promotive way?
Yeah. No, that's a
That
good idea.
I think that
Certainly.
Yeah.
we have that resource that we should be.
I think if she met with board members and they put together some sort of a plan, because we really need to get that back
You do.
the way it was. And part of that is getting out and support it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think things become self-defeating at some point, only because if the vendors dwindle, and you tend to be less likely to go because there's less vendors. So whatever we can do to, like you said, working with Allison or whatever to try to, you get another 10 on there, then you're like, okay, it's not the same 4 people.
Yeah.
Because it was really cool for one. COVID has hurt a lot of
You're
things,
right.
and
Exactly.
everything
I don't think
changed.
it's ever recovered from that.
Yeah, I mean, very difficult. So let's just. It is a nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who seconded that? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it. Action item, grader purchase.
Okay, at town meeting last year, we approved $200,000 with the intention of that being the first payment towards a new grader. In Chris Pelletier, the new Public Works Director's review of the budget and looking at projects that needed to be accomplished, he saw that. He reached out to Caterpillar about specs for a new grader. At that point in time, he was given a proposal by CAT that there's a government in Vermont that is getting into 10-year equipment replacement schedule for heavy equipment. And there's a grader that's available. It is a 2013 It's available for $133,000. Net with they're going to give us $27,000 for ours, which if you don't know or don't remember,
It's a good question.
it is tender with its electronics. It was a dead weight for over 3 weeks while we waited for a part to be rebuilt. Actually, it's a Volvo grader. They stopped making parts for it the year after we bought it. Or the company that acquired the Volvo grader line stopped making parts for it. So we had a pretty large paperweight kicking around. The proposal would be, we have not yet seen this. We talked to the salesman. He says it's in good condition, but we would go up and review it. We would review maintenance records and things. But just looking to see if the board would support the purchase of a used machine. It's 4,500 hours on it right now, which isn't killer for a 10-year machine.
No, it's not. It's nothing.
So Chris really believes that there's some value here, and it would certainly meet our needs for the next decade. And it would allow us to use some of those other money. So the money was put away for highway equipment, not necessarily for a grader, but for highway equipment. And we could possibly start looking at the load of the backhoe, the roller, you name it, we need one.
Street sweeper.
Street sweeper potentially.
Bert had his hand up.
No,
I'll get to you, Jeff.
Questions for Paul? Who's going to do the run out on this thing? Seeing it work, making it work, and et cetera. Are we going to send somebody up there that's going to see what's going on, or are we just going to buy it as is?
No. The intention is that we will see it.
Okay.
And it would be the mechanic and the public works director who has extensive experience with equipment.
Then the next thing I would add to that, if you want to sell a piece of machinery and you've done your homework and done oil samples on it, its condition its history is there. So somebody should be cognizant of that and ask the question if it has been sampled, and if it has been sampled, get copies of them from the beginning of its life expectancy at that community to now. And if that's the case, then at least from the power unit end of it, never mind transmission, etc., if somebody has done the samples and done the oil changes, they probably have done the rear end checks, the transmission checks, and etc. Someone who has not done the oil change tests probably hasn't. And that becomes very clear when you look at machinery at auction.
So I think good suggestions to look at. Jeff, you had a comment?
A couple questions or comments. The new machine, 400 and some thousand versus 133 for a 10-year-old machine. But the new machine, I think looking at it, had like a 5-year warranty and all that such. What would be the anticipated maintenance and repairs on a 10-year-old grader? Is that something would have additional cost over the next several years? Plus also, how long would we consider keeping this? The Volvo was a 2004, I believe. Did we buy that new?
We did buy that new.
So, I mean, history-wise, we keep things 10 years or until they're like at the point where they become, or we keep them 20 years, We're not on a 10-year cycle like this community is. 4,500 hours, doesn't seem like a lot, but our Volvo was, 11,000. So, I mean, per year-wise, it's not too bad. Pretty much the same.
The current grader has 11,000 hours on it,
Yeah, I think that's what it said.
and it's 10 years old.
No, it's 20.
20, that's nothing.
Right, but other parts have failed, you can't.
Yeah, well,
Since we get parts, that's kind of.
I just, I drove a forklift at Durgan Grove for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I drove one from the time it was brand new for 18 years, and I put 36,000 hours on it.
Yeah,
And
we,
the weak link was the engine.
right, but we're not using the grader day in, day out. It's
That's what I
mainly.
mean. That's why the number of hours versus number of years
Right.
is that's low mileage.
I think,
But,
go ahead, Jeff.
and I guess another concern, and this piggybacks on what you said, Bert, you may be able to speak to it. If a community's realizing we're dumping this after 10 years, would they be as diligent on the maintenance as if we gotta keep this as long as we can keep it?
Good
Boy,
question, Jeff.
boy, would I like to drive this nail home. Okay? I buy a brand new machine, and I don't do anything with it. I just run it. Paul buys a brand new machine. He does the oil changes. He does the samples. Everything else needed to be done. He has a maintenance program. Everybody should have a maintenance program. I, years ago, asked the town garage if they were doing repair orders. Because what does a repair order do? It is a history. On this date, we did this to that machine. So as you buy a machine in today's market that you are buying with a good price tag, you ask for all of that. Because the good people in the business, it is not the condition that is important. It is the maintenance.
Maintenance.
Because it can be shiny and nice. Turn the key and it starts. And it lasts you, what?
Till you get out of the parking lot.
Yeah. So, and then you can say, well, they sold it for a reason, I guess. So get the maintenance paperwork, repair orders, everything. Talk to somebody.
Exactly.
And then if all of that fits, then wow, now you've made a deal. You bought it at 50% of market price, and when you buy the brand new one, there's always infantile things that happen. Somebody didn't tighten this nut or this, or so on and so forth, somewhere along. That's all done for you here. It's proven. And as far as wear and tear, you drive by my warehouse, you look down the left-hand side, you'll see this burgundy tractor to a tractor trailer, 10-wheeler, and that has over 1 million miles on it. And I can go out there today, turn the key, and it runs. Oil pressure 40 psi. Okay? It is maintenance. It isn't necessarily the age.
So those are the questions that whoever goes up needs to ask, because we're going to ask them when you come back with that information. And so I want to make sure all of those things are recorded so we can refer back to them. Okay?
And this is a Vermont machine. Okay? Vermont has a right to know more also. So you can
I
ask.
got you, but
You can ask for
Jeff,
documents.
I'll get you right after Jeff.
Get them one way or another.
Yeah.
So, Paul, is this a brokered deal from someone who's buying it and then it's being brokered, or is it coming from the town directly?
No, this will be coming through CAT. I think it was going to be a trade-in, and then CAT offered it to us because knowing that we were out looking for a machine.
Are they going to check it over before? I would assume they are.
We could for a fee have them take it in and go through it. I believe, if we wanted to rely on their person. So
That would probably be a good investment.
I
probably.
On the hook too.
Yeah, I got to get.
And I would just say
That
that
was my comment. Why not have a professional heavy equipment man go down and look at it? We don't know what we're talking about or looking at.
and just also is that, if it's warranties are like car warranties, you're always fooled by them. You're like, it's warranted until everything you need to get fixed isn't warranted. It's like the things that you don't expect to go, like your engine never goes, and yet all the things that they don't warranty are the things that go. So warranties are oftentimes, and I don't know, on heavy equipment, are oftentimes a lot more overrated than the reality of what they are. So
Jim?
That's the fine print of it all.
it's the disaster of it all.
I know that he hasn't been here long. He's just dipping his toe into this process. What are the other options, and what do those figures look like? Right now, I've got nothing to compare this offer to. So if he was to get, a brand new 2024 machine on a lease or something along those lines, it would be nice to have a little bit more information about. I'm all about saving $60,000, $70,000, but
Yeah, so the new one was estimated at 390.
389 rounded.
380.
And here's the other one.
Also, as
And
we
they
all
did
know,
talk about
is
lease.
interest rates
And
right
they
now
did
are
On which
not
one?
very good.
On the new one.
On the new one?
And certainly the position, I think, of previous administration supported by this board is we wanted to get to the point where we started paying for cash for things and
Correct.
not leasing, not financing. I mean, if you told me today you wanted to lease, I would go out and look at a loader, a backhoe, and a grader all in a package. But you'd be tying yourself up for probably 15 years in a lease. So I think right now, with the funding that we've got in the budget, if we can continue that, we'll be able to pay cash for equipment in the near and long-term future.
The intent was we had 200,000 in this year's budget, and to put another 200,000 in next year's budget in order to cover the costs. So we basically have built into our budget, and would be built into the default budget, $200,000 for public works equipment purchases.
Correct. And we do have a 1989 loader, we have a backhoe and cemetery I don't want to talk about. We've got some issues in equipment, and so that's why I was kind of seeing that this might be a nice step to alleviate an issue. And I mean, the current grader is great as long as it's running. It's when it breaks down and we have to find the little guy in Antrim in his garage that rebuilds circuit boards.
Literally what we did.
It is. That's when it gets scary. And then you've got a really big one.
So, how many miles do we
Go
carry?
ahead, Bert.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, the purchase, the used one is how much?
Net of 133. They're offering
I got you after, Jeff.
27 in trade for ours.
No, the
Built-in ether start.
purchase price,
Net 133.
133. Okay. Wow. Okay. I've said enough, but I'm going to say it another way. This is what I would do. I would take the guy from here and go and look at the machine. I'd look at the tires.
Yeah.
Visual. The rest of the machine, visual. Foot pedals. Paint should be all gone, but not rust. Look at everything that you touch and feel and see. And Cat has taken this in trade, so Cat will probably not sell you something that's got a major deficiency. But you want to know what Cat did.
Right,
So,
exactly.
so you need to ask for Cat's repair order.
Yep.
And if you can find the municipality and make a phone call, I'm sure that those people up there will say, we love the machine and this is what we had, and they'll tell you the truth now, because it's out of their hands. You're not buying from them, so they don't have this protection.
Yeah.
They're willing to tell you what the problems were.
And
then-
Go ahead.
And you take your check with you, and at the end of that, when you stand outside and you mull us all over and say, okay, let's see, Bert said to do this, 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 and this, and you've done all of that, and all of it comes out good, you go back in and give them the check.
Well, I ask you not to do that. Because I think there's more to this discussion than just saying, okay, we're going to buy this machine. I think we as a board need to weigh all of the different aspects. I'm looking here at the lease process or the purchase process, things of that nature. So I really think I want our due diligence done with the buying of, with the examination of this machine, both from our people, and I do want Cat to look at and service it, get it ready.
I agree.
And then look at that, as Bert said. I think you've given us very good information, Bert, to look at in regards to that.
Barry?
Yes, Jeff.
A couple things, remembering as much as I can about the resume of our new Public Works Director. He has a lot of years in Public Works and all, so he's probably done this kind of purchasing before.
Sure.
But on the other hand, sitting here as a elected official in a municipality, you basically get rid of a 10-year-old machine, you know, which you're trading it in and they're gonna sell it for 160 and more or less buying a new machine for 400,000. I mean, it just doesn't seem like good municipal economics to me.
Say that again, you're what?
Trading in a 10-year-old machine, which
Yeah.
they're gonna turn around and sell for 160, so you've got less than that for it. But you're
I see
buying
what you're saying, yeah.
the brand new shiny one for 400,000. I mean, for municipal use, I mean, it seems like not the best investment. You know, when you have a piece of equipment that could probably keep going, you know, despite what, you know, your town process is. It seems like you, to me, if Paul came to us and said, this grader's 10 years old, we want to buy a new one, you know, for 400,000, you know, and we're going to get like 150 for this one, you know, it's like, what's wrong with the old one?
Sounds like a
I mean,
community with
that's just sort of like,
motherboard issues.
Yeah.
well, no, but I mean, one cat for another cat. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you know, they're trading in
Yeah.
what to me, and what they're peddling as a perfectly good machine for the shiny new one.
So I think at this point, good points, Jeff. We would say, go look at it, do the due diligence, have Cat do what needs to be done, get a report back on that, and then come back to us in regards to that. I don't think we can go much further tonight.
Question for Paul. Just looking at Kat's letter on their last page, unit is subject to prior sale. Are we first in line of this? Is this being held for us, giving our first refusal, or are we? Is this a timely thing where we have the potential of missing? Would be a potentially good opportunity for the town.
There's the potential to miss that. I signed an order, a purchase order, contingent upon selectmen approval of receipt. So I think but also, it sounds like the machine isn't going to transfer until the first of the year. So I think we've got a little window here that we could get Kat to bring it in and look at it.
So is this something that if we gave the go-ahead tonight, pending positive review, inspection, etc., all things that we've laid out, that we'd like to see from Bert's, notes and from the rest of us, that if it meets those criteria, this is a no-brainer decision. But just want to make sure that we've done our due diligence, that we're not buying a motherboard issue.
Yep. No,
Right?
absolutely.
Like we have currently. So.
Absolutely.
But I also don't want to, there aren't many communities, as Jeff pointed out, that have such poor fiscal responsibility where they're turning over a 10-year-old machine. So this is not an opportunity that's going to come around, like, again, next week. So
Right.
I don't want to miss the opportunity should this turn out to be a good opportunity.
I think that if we say no, it's not going to last long.
Okay.
I understand. We're talking about a salesman we have dealt with in many places in the street. I would prefer to have
Motion.
that authorization. And legally, I probably don't need that authorization. But the question for this board is, do you support buying a reasonable used piece of equipment more than anything else? But certainly I would love the authorization.
But we don't want you coming back next year saying, this widget broke and we need to spend $80,000 to get it back on the road.
Certainly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just on the time element, where this could be a window of opportunity you could miss, you can always put a deposit on it and say later, this isn't what we really are looking for. Thank you, we'll take our deposit back.
And they'll call it the next one on their list.
So I would be willing to make the motion if you need that, Paul.
I would
To
too.
start down the process, provided that it passes all appropriate inspection checks, one from Caterpillar, two from ourselves, that it has had, a well cared for previous life.
And there's a maintenance history to support it.
So if you need a motion for that,
You just made it.
I would repeat what I just said.
May I ask one more
Is there a
question?
second? And we'll have further discussion.
I'll second.
Sure. That sounds good.
Kurt, you were waving your hands.
Both hands.
Yeah.
Then I'll get to you, Jeff.
I'm gonna boil this down and make it real stark. The people that you're sending down there to look at this machine and the criteria that they've gotten, etc., if you don't trust them to put a down payment on to hold that machine right there until they get back and talk to you, then don't send them. Send somebody that knows.
Knows what to do.
Yeah.
This is a big purchase, but
Very big, yeah.
Cat's hands is super. Cat does not want to bring in garbage and sell garbage.
No.
That's not what they do.
Right.
So that all being said, that's an insurance policy in and of itself. So if you ask Cat for their paperwork for what they've done, and it should say check up this, it should have.
Why my motion included that.
Right.
And maybe some
And-
warranty of some sort, X amount of
And
hours.
then if you
Okay.
Then if you can find the community and just make a phone conversation and say, hey, do you do oil samples and stuff like that? You know, what do you think of your grader that you just let go? They have no, you know, if I'm selling it to you, I'm not going to tell you it's got a flat back, rear tire that goes flat in the back. You're going to find it yourself, right? But once it's gone and belongs to somebody else, I'll tell you. That's the way the business works out there. So if you trust them, send them at least with a down payment check where they can hold the machine so you don't lose it. Because if you do lose it, I'm going to be here telling you that you made about a $200 and some odd $1,000 big mistake.
$266,000.
Caterpillar over there they've been there long enough in the business. They don't sell junk, okay?
Yeah.
And they get it used up. And I bet they'll tell who had it before, and they'll give you the phone number to call.
Okay.
There's no doubt, you know.
Okay, good discussion. Jeff, did you have something you wanted to say?
I just, I'm okay with the vote if I can ask after. Quick, you said we'll have some more discussion afterwards?
Ask before the vote, yeah.
Okay, you said we have discussion after, so.
After the motion. You're supposed to have a motion and then discussion.
Oh, good lord. Okay, so I was just curious.
Good Robert's
in-
rules.
In terms of equipment that we use, I'm sure there are some things, street sweepers, maybe graders, that don't get as much use as things as bucket loaders and excavators and backhoes, and the kind of usage that the a grader gets in Newport. I mean, when I'm in Vermont, like every road is a dirt road. When I'm in Newport, you know, Blueberry Ridge would be a dirt road in Vermont. It is a paved road here. How much do we really use a grader, and is a used one a great thing for something like that?
So we have 25 miles of dirt road
Okay.
with houses on them. We probably have a few more miles beyond that are all graded twice a year, and during mud season more than that even. And it's used extensively for that. I have seen it used for mud season plowing, so when you get that 8-inch storm and you're plowing a dirt road, a lot of times they'll use the grader instead of taking a plow truck out.
Even
because they can leave the blade up a little bit and take snow, not road. So there is a lot of use.
A lot of use.
Probably 400 to 500 hours a year.
Okay.
So if you fix up Spring Street Road, Spring Street where I live, beyond where I live, that would save on the grade.
So our use would be similar to their usage.
I had this discussion with my daughter today. There are 6 major dirt roads in town. Bascom Road is not first on that list to be paved. There is an order based on through traffic and number of houses and things, and I don't know that Upper Springfield Road would be much higher on the list than Bascom Road.
See, if you didn't.
I can send a guy down to you who can finish it differently.
See, Paul,
If you know who it is.
Once your road, Bascom Road would have had more traffic, it would really,
Okay. One more comment.
The only
and then I'd
thing
like
that I
to
would-
call for a vote.
If this works out, and I'm hopeful that everything does work out as a,
Me as well.
you know, I look forward to the $66,000 discussion, what we can do with that money, and where we could extend, you know, our tax dollar in other areas, and then what this does to our long-term CIP program. It's really going to be extremely beneficial that we're saving $260-some-odd thousand. That's going to really be able to move up pieces of equipment that are in dire need. So I'm hopeful that this works out on many different levels. One, the 66 balance for this year, and then what that does for our long-term CIP. So fingers crossed. that this passes here.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, I mean, what it does, it, in the short, say, decade or so time frame, it helps us, but we are starting with a 10-year-old machine, so probably 10 years sooner, you know, maybe 15 or 20 years, someone's gonna have to replace it versus 30 years.
Realistically,
I won't be here.
upgrade should be 30 years.
Easy,
Should be 30
especially with the
years.
number of hours that you guys, like I said, 11,000 hours on the one you have is nothing for a 20-year-old machine.
But yeah, I mean,
I call for a vote.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes, Paul. You got your
Thank you.
authorization.
Board updated.
Thank you.
Please,
Okay.
good luck.
Are you gonna go up with him?
He's got,
Bert is.
Bert? I'd like to
I was
see
gonna say,
Bert go with him, but,
I wouldn't mind going and check it out myself.
all right. POS meeting.
So currently you're scheduled to meet on Monday, January 1st. Didn't know if you wanted to keep that meeting on the schedule, or if you'd like to...
is there anything urgent that needs to be done then, or is this,
If there's anything urgent, I would pull you in on the 2nd or the 28th.
or is this something that we should be able to decide at our next meeting, the 16th?
I just wanted to get it on
Get
the
it out.
schedule and
Okay.
so we can plan forward.
Good.
I don't care what we do either way, I'm gonna be out of state. The first and the
Are
second.
you hunting?
The third and the, yes.
Wow,
The-
good for
yeah.
you. All right.
Not enough
Yes,
venison? Can we get some more?
Well,
Go ahead.
no, I want to get my opportunity. I want to be the first in the open forum, so I'm jumping the gun.
All right, let's move to open forum.
Can I have, wait, did we vote on the?
Yes, we did.
Vote on what?
Well,
The
yeah,
first?
The first?
Oh,
Yeah, get
no.
everybody.
Yeah, none of us want to be here.
no. That's a no.
Okay, so it's by consensus.
That's a
Works
strong
for me.
no.
I'm not
It's
gonna be
fine.
here anyway, so I don't get what you know.
Okay.
And I'm not
Nice,
zooming in.
nice, Jim.
So I'm saying no by consensus.
No, by
I'd be in the-
consensus. Good.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry, I should have. Open forum at this point. Bert?
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go back to that. And I wrote myself a little note. Vermont Town went to CAT probably due to the longevity of the machine and maintenance in the first place.
Good point.
Now, mentally stop and try and search out who sells more road graders in the world, Volvo or CAT? The answer to that is obvious. And so you do not grow a company like that by selling garbage. Right after you bought this Volvo, you had problems. By the way, was it the same selectman who bought the Volvo who bought the sewer treatment plant that was no good?
Weren't you on the board then?
No, I don't believe so. And
Wise
I will
guy.
say, the Volvo
The answer's
was
no.
no bid.
But anyways, that being said, there's, out of
Low
this,
initial bid.
out of this, I would get there as soon as I could get there.
Yep.
And I would go with a check. That all being said, now I gotta go to page 2 here. The CMR bridge.
The what?
Chandler's Mills Road.
Chandler's Mills Road
Oh,
Bridge.
yeah,
Some
took me a
people
second.
listening may not
Yeah.
know.
If you can picture the inlet being that square right there underneath the table, goes in and the outlet the other side, and then there's a house over here. The island in the middle, Barry being the island, forced the water to go left and right. On the left side, the bank was able to hold it. On the right side, you can see where the erosion has cut underneath. And so, in this contract that you made, you've got a good contractor. Because they are taking the island out and going to riprap that so that there is no more invasion into that person's property. I can envision this island growing or a large log coming down and getting crossways there, that it goes right out and takes it out. And then who replaces it? Do you have to go through DES to replace it because it's in the shoreline protection? If in fact DES has a purpose on this earth, it is to prevent erosion, and this is it. So that's fine. It is wider. This is really great. It has a built-in speed bump right now that would stop almost anything. So you you go on it real close. And they pave it tomorrow, is my understanding.
Isn't there also a stoplight on it right now?
Excuse me?
A stoplight? Don't you also have a stoplight on it right now?
Yes, but those are not permanent,
Oh.
Jeff. Those would not be, or I'd be complaining.
Right.
If they stay longer than the pavement, and whatever. So, a wonderful choice. A wonderful guy, head for Daniels, doing the job. And,
I would point out, you brought out a lot of these things initially
Yeah.
when we were discussing it.
no.
You did.
Yeah, you
Yes,
did.
but a lot of people don't listen, right? Okay, and-
I did.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
What's that?
Yeah.
but what's important is the job is going to be done and done right, and no detour, no nothing, no great inconvenience to anybody. So, works super. So that takes care of that and that. It seems that we are in a black hole on the town manager search. Meaning, where are you?
Good question.
How about right now, giving the community an update?
Mhm.
Maybe I'm not asking you to use names or anything like that.
But we can do that.
Say, we had 11 candidates and we pared it down to this and...
I believe we did have 11 candidates. We pared it down to 5 that we... 7. One decided not to come in, right?
Yeah, so the committee whittled it down to 7. We were ghosted by 1, so they interviewed 6. They sent 4 finalists to the Board of Selectmen.
One of those dropped
and
out.
one of those withdrew shortly after recommendation. The Selectmen have interviewed those 3 and have invited a finalist in for a second
Could be on
in-person
Yep.
interview.
12/9. He will be here. Gentleman's from New Jersey. Impressed us all. And but we want to spend some time with him. And so he'll be here for the TWAS issue, function, event. And so we're looking forward to that on 12/9.
Done?
And that will need to be a posted non-public meeting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, posted meeting that you'll go to non-public.
Non-public with.
And the intent is, after meeting with us, you will be taken on a tour by some of us and some of the search committee members around town.
Right.
Utilizing the rec bus, right?
The bus will be in Clearance.
Bus will be.
Drive them around our new grader.
Go ahead.
Make absolutely sure that somebody asks him the question if he's watched NCTV Selectmen's meetings over the
Asked and
last
answered.
few years.
That was-
So
that-
he's got a pretty good idea
Yeah.
of what he's up against.
Actually, all candidates had.
That was actually
Just-
a requirement.
Yeah, so one of the things that, I'll let you know, Bert, that, and let everybody know this, that we really were truth in advertising. We wanted each applicant to know all about Newport and for them to tell us what they know about Newport, and then redirected them to actually follow up and watch some of the meetings, see how our government works, how we all operate, how we interact, the whole gamut. And then allow them to ask questions and really talk further about all of our processes, not just these meetings here, but really wanted them to be eyes wide open about all the great things that Newport has to offer and how we operate within that community and how the community interacts and works with the town. So,
And it didn't scare him off.
I mean, and one,
Didn't scare him off.
I mean, and
That's-
one question
that's
may
good,
be to ask, what did he think of tonight's meeting, assuming he's watching tonight's meeting, which I would
Sure
expect.
it is.
Okay, and then I would say, well, the Eagle Times seems to think that my language is really out of this earth, sort of thing, like the F word.
Well, that was the last thing that they wrote about. They don't write about Newport anymore.
And I would support myself by saying even Elon Musk now listens to me and uses the word.
Okay.
But it seems to be costing him a few bucks.
you can afford it.
Open forum. Anybody else? Mr. Wenzel.
About via power.
while back, I asked abuse of power, and it's illegal. And we sent down some new emails, and the abuse of power is controlled, okay? And I sent it to everybody. So I asked about the insurance for the people, not the people, but the people at work. So then I got the book. What it was 52 pages, both sides. And I asked a question a year ago, and I asked a question maybe before. The people that work and they have insurance, okay, are they covered if they broke the law? Now the problem is, when you break the law, now, and I asked for you, John, well, not some of you, but are you actually covered, or if you break the law, like they did, the town of Newport did, okay? When they broke the law, are they covered? And I asked for them to ask the insurance. So I took the thing and I gave it to somebody that does insurance. And he says, quite a while back, they took 2.5 years to figure who was going to pay for the damage that they had, people that was breaking the law. And they had Sullivan County Court was doing it. Now that question is very simple. Have somebody ask if they break the law, like they have and what they've done. Are they covered with insurance, or they don't have no insurance? Okay.
There would have to be some sort of understanding and a statement of truth that somebody broke the law. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That would be paramount to the whole process. We do have coverage, and I talked with Paul a little bit. How much do we have?
So it's a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
As you said, there would need to be a determination about
That the law was broken. You can't just go on the assumption, okay, they broke the law, and will insurance cover them? So I don't know if that answers your question or not. It adds another dimension to your question. But yes, Keith.
Assuming one broke the law.
Well, we never assume that.
Well, hypothetical scenario, are they covered? I think is the question. It's not a question about if they broke the law. It's a question, if somebody has broken the law, are they still covered?
That is,
duties.
yeah, and there's a lot that comes into that bring to bear. But you can't just blanketly say they broke the law. You've got to know that they broke the law. Was it adjudicated? What happened as a result of that? And who covers it? Going into any court action on the part of this municipal group, yeah, our insurance would cover that process. So, yes, Jeff.
I think it also comes down to whether it was an intentional breaking of the law or
Yeah.
just a misinterpretation of, say, an RSA or something that caused the law to be broken. And also, I know of no instance where the town of Newport or any of its representatives have broken the law or have been, found to have broken the law. So, there's no court case that says, yes, we find that the town of Newport did violate the law in this situation.
Okay. So when you have the power, okay, and you didn't follow the law, okay, so now you got the power and you didn't follow the law. So when they check it and they said, and all you got to do is just ask them, because the facts are out there. Now I had this 28, and I never gave a name. I never gave a name on 28 when did they break the law. Okay.
So are you saying 28 people broke the law?
Yeah.
And
No,
they were...
no, I didn't say that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because I never gave a name.
But you did use
I
a
said-
number.
Yes.
28 what?
There was 28 people that worked for the town of Newport.
Mhm.
Okay, they worked for the town of Newport, and there was 28 people.
Mhm.
That's what they are. When they broke the law, when they knew for a fact that they did, lawyers and stuff, but I never gave a name. So then, when you do break the law, now I had them send out something, if you looked at that, because a few years back, okay, they did, and the insurance companies, they fought back and forth for about 2.5 years. But they settled it because they wouldn't pay the claim.
Mhm.
And it's just what, if you,
Can-
I'm not going to chew up a lot of your time, but just for instance, up to $10,000, okay, you selectmen, you have to say by what the town manager is going to do. If it's over $10,000, it's all highlighted. If it's over $10,000, you people make the decision, not the town manager. He's got to get your permission. It's right in highlight. So it really depends how far you want to go with this, because this thing here, it's now the state controls. Now, if you look at that I sent to you, okay, the federal government controls 501c3, okay, and they're controlled by the Constitution, which controls me. But then when the town turns around and it's taxing me on my animal shelter, that was illegal. And that's all documented, it's all approved, and I showed you people to take a look at it, because Secretary of State, it's federal, but you still tax me. And you can't do it. It's totally illegal. And if you read what I sent to you, you'll find out the same thing. Okay? So, and when the town manager takes control of all your selectmen, from a while back, the town manager did any and every and all thing he wanted. The law did absolutely nothing to
That's
him.
your opinion.
No, it's documented.
haven't seen the document.
There's a document to it. Okay? And that's why I have the whole thing filed. I've had righted people than me. They check it right out. Now, if I worked for the town, and I would be wanting an answer, because when you go against the federal government, and this clearly tells you, down there, it just says it right on it. And you people, he done anything, all what he wanted to do. In the assessment, the gentleman that did assess, he never even, they asked him to bail it or to put it on file. For 20-some years, he never did. The town just let him assess people. And then I have the quotations in a meeting when he was quotation, but nobody voted on him. They just let him go. And those kind of people.
Who are you talking about at this point, so I can follow that a little better? You
He
talking
was
about the town manager, you're talking about the assessor?
Both of them.
Okay.
They did pretty much what they wanted to do. And because of the town meeting. Now, before I leave, it's amazing how you people have the say, not the town manager. Now,
I've always understood that.
Yeah, and
the stuff that he used to do, well, some of them you weren't around, but what he was doing, it made no difference to him. And but he stayed. Now, my other question was,
He's no longer here.
I asked very nicely, when you went upstairs and he was fired, okay, the other town manager, he was fired. So then, shortly later, the gentleman here, they gave him more money. He's got somewhere around $200,000 that he agreed to give for. See, he lost everything. And you gentlemen here let him get back on board, took him off, and now he's getting tons of money for.
He was not removed for cause, okay? You need to understand that very clearly. He was not removed for cause. And so therefore, according to his contract, he was entitled to certain elements. Am I correct, Paul? Correct. And so we followed the letter of his contract. We did not remove him for cause. Okay?
So
Go ahead, Jim. Can I just ask him to say something?
So regarding the animal shelter, the ball is 100% in your court. We have given you our answer over the years, repeatedly, same thing. So the ball is in your court. You keep asking the same question, we keep giving you the same answer. If you want a different answer, you're going to have to, the ball's in your court. Going back to us or sending us emails weekly asking us the same question, when we're going to write you the check. We're not writing a check. You were going to have to, the ball's in your court. So we have an opinion, a legal opinion that we've been exercising, standing on that ground for years.
For years?
And it has not changed, it has not wavered. So the ball's in your court. And repeatedly asking the same question and expecting a different result isn't happening anytime soon, from my perspective.
Go ahead, Mr. Wansel, if you want to continue.
Well, we'll go a little bit better than that, okay? On the documentation, okay, which is here, right here in my hand, okay? I was taxed illegally. If you read what was said.
I understand that. That's your position.
No,
and I'm going to let you finish, but I just want to make one final point is that's your position. We have our position. The ball is in your court. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that's fine. Well, what you think you have, okay? You can hire one lawyer, 2 lawyers, 5 lawyers, and I'll tell you what the story is. I don't just sit here and do something.
Neither do we.
I go to smarter people than me. Now, they looked at the stuff, okay, and there's not a problem whatsoever. Because, okay, it's just like when he sat right here in this thing, and I had bought that land 16 acres ago. Town manager says we have we have an easement over that property. My lawyer said no. And then come to find out, you never pulled your pipe like you were supposed to. That's a separate issue. But that was only 16 years, and he told you people on air that I, okay, owned the land that, but you didn't do it. Somebody else put the pipe in. They came down straight. But that needs to go further than that. So you're wrong on that. You ask your lawyer that, because he said that. And
I have asked him about that process.
Yeah.
And it goes back to you buying the land. Did you know that was there? And if you didn't know, your quarrel is not with us. It's with the person you bought the land from.
No, because your town manager said that he
I
had an
don't
easement.
really care what the town manager said.
Okay.
I heard him. I heard what he said,
Yeah.
and I was concerned about that. And I've told you that before. before,
Okay?
okay? But your fight on that might not be with us. It might be with the person you bought the land from, okay?
No, because the time's not.
Well, you're saying no, I'm saying maybe, okay? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay?
So,
If I can on that easement issue, I think it's called a possessive
Prescriptive easement.
Prescriptive
easement.
easement, that's correct.
which meant it existed for 20 years or so.
yeah, but it doesn't.
It's been there a long time. And I
Adverse
think
possession.
at one point, I think the town manager, you, Paul, offered to get a legal easement and pay you for the privilege, a few $1,000s. I think you wanted like
70.
a lot more money. But I mean, we're talking pipes that have been there 90, 100 years, and certainly I agree with Barry that the person you bought the land from, if they knew there were pipes there, had a responsibility to let you know about it.
Well, there's a little thing with the pipe, like you guys didn't do it. And it hasn't even got to 20 years yet. It hasn't got to 20 years. It's only got to 16. And it wasn't you guys that did it. So that piece of land up there, okay, I've had it for a long time and I use it the way I want. And the lawyer says no. And when he said that he had an easement, the town manager, and he used all the stuff, he says no. It's only 16 years. And he said he can't do it. But he didn't tell the truth, so my lawyer had to show him that he didn't have an easement.
Did he show him?
Pardon?
Did he show the town manager we didn't have an easement?
Yeah.
Because we never heard.
No, my lawyer showed him. He wrote it up, and my lawyer showed him.
Mm-hmm.
There's Mike Ward down there, and he said he didn't even get to the 20 years, but he's got to the 16. But there's another thing.
Did the person disclose that there was a pipe there when you bought the land?
2 pipes.
No,
No. So I'll go back to my original statement. When you sell something, there is a disclosure aspect that needs to be followed.
What kind of easement?
And so,
I'm not sure.
I'll go back to what I have looked at, and that is, your issue is not with us. It's really with the person you bought the land from. That's my point.
And my point was that Ward's made a decision, and the ball's in his court.
Right.
If he wants to do something,
Yeah.
we're not changing. So it's in your court, Mr. Winston. Whatever you decide you want to do, prove you're correct and we're wrong. There you go.
So, you guys just spent about, let's see, three months. You probably spent about $50,000, and you blacked out 2/3 of everything. The public doesn't have no right. So you're spending almost $50,000 in 3 months. Most everything's blacked out.
What are you referring to
I
now?
don't know what you're
No idea
referring
what you're
to.
talking about. You're talking about the town manager issue?
No,
Legal bills.
the legal bills.
Legal
In-
bills.
In regards to,
Mr. Wenzel's asked for copies of all legal bills that we pay. We generally
Yes, I know that.
We generally redact them for any active cases. We redact them for any employee names. There's further things that were redacted. He has been given sheets that say the name of the attorney and
I know, I've seen
$48,
that.
$82
Yeah.
with just black because it's ongoing cases that we.
Okay, and I think we explained that before.
Well, we'll start the battle, and I want what's mine.
And
And
we will only give what you need to have. Okay? That's where we're going. If the ball is in your court, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anymore.
so last but least, on $10,000, okay, you people control the town manager. No town manager. That's up to you guys. It's right there in black and white. Okay?
Well aware of that. Well aware of it. Thank you.
Then why did he just do anything he wanted to? The other.
That's your opinion. He did not do, believe me, there were Well, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say any more because
Okay.
it could end up in court, so, that's all I'm gonna say. I mean, the board was not as naive and, hamstrung as some people have been leading others to believe, so.
Well, we'll have to, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Dick, looking up prescriptive easement, basically, basically if we've been using those pipes without interruption for the last 20 years, it doesn't say the clock starts with each new owner of the land above it. So, I mean, that 20-year clock could have run out decades ago. Those water lines have been running there without interruption for several decades.
No.
So it's quite possible you don't start the clock each time.
Well, according to my attorney,
Okay.
you have it wrong.
Okay, I could have.
It's only 16.
Or your attorney may have it wrong. I don't know.
Oh.
But that's
They have been known to be wrong.
Yeah. I'm sure you have a good attorney and he's working in your best interest, but so are ours.
Trust me. But they're going to go down in the sections. So,
I don't know what that means.
well, we have some decent lawyers here, but nobody really wants to take on the town per se, and I understand that. So you go where there's lawyers, that's how they make a living. I talk to the one in Lebanon.
Yeah, I don't need to know about your lawyer. I'm just
Yeah.
saying
So,
the ball's in your court. God bless you and good luck.
well, okay. We'll see you, gentlemen.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yes, but I'd yield, unless you just came to listen all night.
Best entertainment in town.
Just, just
I'll
one,
answer my questions.
just one sentence. Jeff, you just made a statement that there were no cases.
What? No cases. Over the life of that
Well,
water pipe.
you made it sound overall,
Yeah.
and that's the way I took it, okay? And the town lost the First Amendment case that I took against the planning board, hands down,
Okay.
okay? To the point where I was asked how much money I want. And I'll tell you, I said $100,000 with a smile on my face. And then my attorney said, you aren't going to get that much, Bert. And I says, I want all of your expenses and $1,000 for me. Because I didn't want to penalize the town, but I wanted the town to recognize I have a right to speak beyond what somebody else thinks. Okay? Because my statement to Karen Dewey was, I'll speak to you any fucking way I want.
Right. We've heard this before, and I'm not sure how it applies to this particular case.
Well, but I didn't apply it to this case. You did, by stating that the town has not. And I took it.
No one's raised an issue with this easement. I didn't say no one's ever raised an issue with the town.
That's
I'm
how I-
talking about this specific water line.
Okay.
It hasn't been challenged since it's been in there until Mr. Wenzel.
I obviously didn't take it that way.
Okay, but that's
So-
the way I meant it.
Okay.
No, I know you've won your case against the town in that case and such, and I'm sure we've lost other cases to other people and have had other cases, but as far as
If we go
these,
back
I think
100
it's
years,
two water
I'm sure we
lines.
find something.
These two water lines, until, Mr. Wenzel found them, a few years ago, they were fat, dumb, and happy and doing their own thing with no one bothering them.
Just-
For a long time.
Go ahead,
Just
Jim.
to close this up, just with all due respect to Mr. Wenzel and his issues with regards to the easement and to the abatement or lack of abatement at the animal shelter, these are issues that this board, this group of people, and many boards prior to me, and most of us sitting here, have had these issues looked at, reviewed, addressed, and an opinion and a position given to Mr. Wenzel. So when I say the ball was in his court, that's what I referred to, was that if he disagrees with that, then he needs to take other proceedings, because we have got that guidance and we've taken that position historically. So
We're ready to defend our position.
Yes, so that was my point to the ball is in his court if he wants to proceed. Anyway, moving on.
Okay. Any more open communication? Yes, sir, sorry. I'm usually see holes in his knees, so I didn't recognize you. Okay.
Paul took care of me on what I had for questions here. I just want to remember, we'll be doing Toys for Tots Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in front of the radio station in Steve Smith. So
Good.
just put it over here at the same time, sir.
Excellent, thank you.
And I do want to thank Paul. Him and our police chief turned around and gave us permission to do a car show, our cruise night, in the center of town, July 8th.
Wow, cool dude.
So I think it's going to be a good thing.
Can I just rephrase that? The police chief and I said that we would support it and bring it to the board for approval.
Oh, you did?
Not our
Okay.
call.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It was just thinking ahead.
We'll wait.
You will be hearing more about it.
We'll hear more about
I mean,
it.
Probably in January.
honestly, events that shut down the east side of Main Street right here where it's divided, I mean, is fairly easy because your route traffic.
Out traffic.
It's fine, but
Yeah.
just it was not done outside of court
Oh,
approval.
you said
We
you
can
were
discuss
going
that
to bring it. I
January
didn't
1st.
realize that.
Okay, so Wayne, you can see that they got reversed, right?
Yeah, I can see. I got. Yeah.
You're okay.
Well,
Anything else?
let's ask about it then right now.
No, I don't think we're ready to.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Just to follow up on Mr. Boardwood's comment about the Toys for Tots. What a great event that WCNL does
Yeah.
on
Yes.
Main Street. Those 3 days and what he does for this community and
He
beyond is very much supported by the residents, the town departments. I know the police, the fire, I know that there are a number of groups within town and staff, town employees that get together and contribute, and it is such a special event, and thank you for being a part of that, and
I
yeah,
love
it's
doing
good
it
stuff.
and helping Steve with
It's
it.
one of the things that makes this town so incredibly special, so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
okay. Let's see. I'll take a motion to go into. Oh, wait a minute. Board communication. Almost made it.
Almost. We're close.
Jeff?
Yeah, Friday night, the Opera House Association had the Glenn Miller Band here,
Oh,
and it was a packed opera house.
good.
Uh,
Like to hear it.
They had like 30 seats left in the balcony, but it was well received by all age groups. I mean, they had an area up front where a lot of people of all ages were dancing. So
Good. I like it.
it was a
Good.
good event. And as I said, at the event, I took some people back up to Summercrest afterwards, and literally by the time I got back down, they had literally broken down the chairs and were just finishing
care
up
of it.
sweeping the floor,
Good.
which was like many hands make quick work. So
Good. Thank you. Excellent.
that's all I got.
I just want to give a shout out to a Main Street business that has changed ownership here in the last couple of weeks. So to Village Pizza and to
Oh,
Effie
yes,
and
yeah.
the family for all the things that they have done for this town specifically. The ways they have shown their support from school athletics to just any critical incident we've ever had, never had to ask, they always gave. So a very, very sincere thank you to Effie and the rest of the Pentnaxis family for all the things that they have done for this community over the years, and I wish the new owners so much success. Hopefully that tradition and what they have done to this town continues. So a very sincere thank you to Effie and family for all that they have done for the town of Newport.
Jim, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure the board all would concur with that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, good.
I would just say the Christmas tree looks cool, lit up down by the future home of the chamber there. That's a woolly pear tree. Is that what that is, or is that?
No, that was the Chamber of Commerce, that was the first annual Ella Casey tree lighting.
That's right.
Well, I think that I don't know if I stole anything that you were going to say. So I just know that, I saw it down there during the day, and I thought, what's that tree doing there? And I saw it, and I said, that looks cool. So anybody who wants to take a drive by, it looks great. And that, we're wishing the future of that renovation of that building to be successful, and looking forward to seeing it done as you move forward on it with Shannon and the rest of the chamber.
What an awesome tribute to Ella.
Isn't it?
What an awesome
Yeah,
tribute.
I was thinking that. I was not in town, so.
Yeah, the long-term plan is that we're going to plant a tree after construction on the north end. It will just be a permanent
The yellow
tree there.
Ella tree.
That tree that's there, I will say, go at night when lights are on, because the lights really help.
Go at night. I was trying to say that without saying it. Paul.
Gotcha.
Good. Keith?
I don't really have anything, but I just would like to say I'm seeing what's going on with the community center. I'm kind of getting excited about it.
Good. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. We're on the road.
All right, one
Yes, go ahead.
more thing.
Yep.
I want to mention a new restaurant in town for breakfast. I'm trying to remember the name.
Bread and
Breaking bread.
Breaking Bread. Was in there Saturday morning for breakfast, and it's nice that we have a place in town you can go to for breakfast.
Yeah.
It's convenient enough. We walk down for breakfast. So.
Good. Good. Okay. And I think I've spoken enough tonight. So, Paul? Do you want to mention?
All I'm going to do is put in a plug. Twas is Saturday from 4 to 7. Santa will be in the house, and various community organizations will be in selling at least some food stuff. So I'm not sure if there'll be any craft vendors.
Vote for your favorite
Chili walk starts at 4 o'clock. Get there early, because usually about 5 o'clock the chili is gone. That's run by the rec department, and that is walking through various two or through various businesses in town. Usually a great event. It doesn't look like it's going to rain this year, which is always nice. A little snow would be nice, but I don't think we're going to see that. But just a great event. Come out and it's, I think there's a fee for the chili walk, but then other than that, it's, well, essentially any food you're going to have, you're going to pay for, but everything else is free.
Good.
So letters to Santa.
That's this Saturday.
That is this Saturday.
Good. Yeah. And this Saturday, reminder, just get the information out again. We will be having our potential town manager candidate come forth that day. Be here that day. So he wants to get out and meet people.
Couple questions.
Yeah.
On that. Paul, do you know if is the fire department involved with delivering Santa again this year? Is that
I do not believe the fire department will be delivering Santa. I know they're doing marshmallows on Main Street as they usually do. I think there was some liability concerns with delivering Santa, especially the year it was icy.
Coming in with a reindeer and sleigh.
Do you know if we have the carriage rides?
Yes, I believe the horse-drawn carriage will be.
That's
good.
A huge draw. So
Good.
give
Yeah.
them kids that love to go for that
Yeah.
carriage ride.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good.
Sure.
Anything else for the good of the order? Okay. So I would entertain a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2B, hiring of town employees, and RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2A.
So,
Second.
Jeff?
yes.
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 Yeah, I vote yes.